What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, if you need a refresher as to why we talk about this seemingly once every 6 months, it all stems back to an article Deadline ran over 2 years ago on January 14th, 2021, under the headline, Captain America Eyes Return to the MCU as Chris Evans nears deal to reprise role in future Marvel project, where they would go on to report, quote, in a move that is sure to rock the Marvel Cinematic Universe, sources tell Deadline that Chris Evans is cleaning the dust off his Captain America attire as he's expected to reprise his role. They would go on to say he's signing to come back for at least one project and perhaps an additional film. Now, over the last 2 years, the rumor mill has been ripe with what exact project this may be, which we'll talk about during this video. But in his latest interview, Chris Evans was again asked point blank about returning to the MCU, and his quote may surprise you just a little bit again in the face of this article that we seemingly won't let die. We're going to break down the latest quote from Chris Evans about returning as Steve Rogers to the MCU, what he exactly said about that, and of course expand just a little bit on what projects we think he's returning for. Given this article from Deadline over 2 years ago, we have a much clearer picture now as to what project that may be and how it may lead into Secret Wars. We're breaking it all down. Chris Evans back as Captain America in the MCU. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. The next one is right around the corner to coincide with the release of Loki. Again, all you got to do be a sub, leave a comment on this video if you want, stick around at the end of the video, we get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so again, for context, these latest comments from Chris Evans came in an interview with GQ as re-reported by comicbook.com under the headline, Captain America star Chris Evans comments on MCU return. They go on to report this, quote, Chris Evans isn't planning to pick up Captain America's shield in the Marvel Cinematic Universe again anytime soon. Evans is the subject of a cover story profile in the latest GQ. In the interview, he discusses how his star power compares to Steve Rogers and whether he'd return to the superhero universe after passing the Captain America's mantle onto Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, formerly the Falcon. Evans doesn't rule out a return to the MCU at some point, but should that day come, it won't be for a while. Evans has no plans to pop back up in the MCU for a quick Avengers team up. Quote, I'll never say never, just because it was such a wonderful experience, Evans says, but I'm also very precious with it. It's something that I'm very proud of. And like I said, sometimes I can't believe it even happened. And I wouldn't want the black eye if it felt like a cash grab, or if it didn't live up to expectations, or if it felt like it wasn't connected to the original thing. So no time soon. Now, as I mentioned during the prologue, this story pops up again every about 6 to 8 months. In between hearing about Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Iron Man, we'll get a story about Steve Rogers and Chris Evans returning for the role of Captain America. And we've had a ton of new details piled on in the last 2 years. Scarlett Johansson's secret production project, we're going to talk about that in just a second. But the first thing I want to point out that this practiced response that is always exactly the same, by the way, for the last 3 years since he left the role, that it was precious to him and that he doesn't want to screw it up or come back for no reason, do a cash grab, or give it a black eye. We've heard all that before, but it's as true now as it was back then in 2021 that there is another Captain America in the MCU. Anthony Mackie has been passed the mantle. So back in 2021 when this was reported, he was about to have his own TV show in Falcon and the Winter Soldier and inheriting the mantle of Captain America. Now Chris Evans is being asked about this again, and we're less than a year away from Captain America Brave New World, which will finally see Anthony Mackie on the silver screen and in the Captain America suit. So there's definitely something cognizant going on there with Chris Evans. He's not saying, hey, I'm coming back as Captain America before his successor has even had a chance to shine. Now, in the meantime, and again, since this original report, we've heard that in the wake of the lawsuit that was Scarlett Johansson suing Disney and Marvel Studios over Black Widow, that she had actually agreed to return for a secret production project where she wouldn't star, but it was said to be a Marvel movie, and she would executively produce and maybe even direct either for TV on Disney Plus or for a full silver screen feature-length film. Now, which project this is, we're not exactly sure, but rumors have pointed to a possible NOMAD project where that title of NOMAD would apply to Steve Rogers in between the time of Civil War and Infinity War, where they would focus on what happened with what the Russos call the Secret Avengers. And we've had a ton of reports about that and tried to connect the dots for what that would look like. If there's any truth to this at all, it could do two things. Number one, it would serve as connecting to the original timeline and story. Yes, he would be playing a variant of himself, possibly from another part of the multiverse leading into Battleworld, but it would also be the same character on his same journey from a different part of the multiverse, and it would recontextualize a part of his backstory we've never seen. Number two, as Secret Wars gets moved further and further out, it could be down the road, say, not anytime soon like he's referring to during these quotes, but on the horizon rather, years from now. It would give Anthony Mackie a chance to serve as Captain America, not only in his upcoming film Brave New World, but possibly even Avengers 5 King Dynasty. Basically, be Cap for a while before Steve Rogers comes back, and when and if he does, he wouldn't have to show up as the old man Cap version that they've been joking about for the majority of Phase 4 and Phase 5, saying that he was on the moon. So again, when Chris Evans gets asked about coming back as Steve Rogers or Captain America, it feels ultra programmed, literally the same response for the last 3 years, and I believe him. I don't think there's any lie in the words that he's speaking. He definitely doesn't have the body language of some of these actors who get called out when they've been cast in a new Marvel role and they just can't deny it. But I also think that there's a door open for him to return, and that the MCU knows this. That's why they never ever showed his funeral or officially confirmed his passing in the MCU. That's why they continue to bring him up and joke around about him being on the moon or where else he may be in the MCU. The old man Cap thing has always been lingering in the background, and I really feel like, though, if you're going to bring him back and for Battle World and the upcoming Secret Wars, you might as well give us Steve in his prime, again, from somewhere out there in the multiverse, and I think that's what a Nomad project would exactly look to do. Now, if you need any further enumeration or articulation on the Nomad project, I'll make sure to leave the two most recent videos down below because they've actually popped up and within the last half year or so. So there's some new details there. I'll put those down below, but guys, let me know all your thoughts and how you personally feel. Do you want to see Steve Rogers back as Captain America? Do you agree with me it needs to be a little far out so that Anthony Mackie can be Cap too? It would be such a letdown, I think, for Anthony Mackie's character, Sam Wilson, to finally have the Captain America mantle and then Steve Rogers just show up again. Partly the reason that they needed to remove Robert Downey Jr. from the equation. The only problem is they never built another Avengers team while his shadow has been gone. But guys, let me know all your thoughts down below quickly. Let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right, we are still giving away PlayStation 5s here at the channel. We've got 3 left for this year. The next one is right around the corner. If you want to be entered to win or for any of the other future giveaways, like the comic book giveaway next month, super simple. All the same rules will always apply. All you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. As always, if you liked today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name AllFires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around, guys. We'll be posting again real soon.